Welcome to Notes from a Drama Watcher, a podcast about East Asian dramas. It's part recap, part review, and there will definitely be spoilers ahead. Hi, welcome to episode 35 of Notes from a Drama Watcher. This is your host, Em. It's been a while. I know it's been a while, guys. My apologies. I was dealing with not one health issue, a couple of health issues, and they were one right after another. Nothing life-threatening, thank goodness. I'm knocking on wood. You can't see me. But just things I had to take care of, a lot of appointments, a lot of physical therapy, just a lot of stuff going on that made it literally difficult for me to sit down and record and to edit. So thanks for bearing with me. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been with me before, thank you so much for coming back. I hope to be recording more podcasts. I was doing a couple months schedule at one point and then monthly. Couple months is not going to work, obviously, but I'm still dealing with health issues, but things are looking up. So thank goodness. So in this episode, I'm just going to talk about Be My Favorite, starring Krist and Gawin. As of this recording, they've shown 8 episodes. And then what just started is Laws of Attraction. That's starring Film and Jam. So I'm going to talk about that a bit. And then just kind of a recap on some of the shows I left off with so many months back, just to kind of give, I guess, my final thoughts on these shows. So we're going to start off, though, with Be My Favorite. I'm going to just give kind of an overview of episodes 1 through 8, and I'm not going to go episode by episode, but this show stars Krist and Gawin. Gawin, you may recognize from, he was in Dark Blue Kiss, probably my favorite pairing on the show, to be honest, even though I really liked Tawan. So I liked Pia and Cow, but probably my favorite pairing on Dark Blue Kiss was Gawin and Pod, and I always had wished that they had made their own show, but, you know, it didn't happen. He's here and Be My Favorite. And then Krist, who many people know from Sodas, like the OG, one of the OGs of BL. So it's good to see him back doing a BL. I wasn't sure, like many people, I wasn't sure about this pairing, because back when they showed the trailer, it was actually supposed to be Krist and Mike, his friend Mike, playing the other male lead, which was interesting too, because I have not seen Mike as a male lead, and to see him playing with Krist, you know, I was like, oh, okay, I'm all for this. And then they announced that he wasn't going to be there and it was going to be Gawin. I really like Gawin, so I was happy to see that he had a main lead role, but I wasn't sure what the chemistry would be with him and Krist, because I'd never really seen them together in anything. And I'm happy to report that it's going really well on the show so far. I really like the two of them together. I've even seen some like behind the scenes stuff and some interviews. I have to watch or wait for fans to translate because I don't speak Thai, but they really seem to have a good rapport with one another. Even in interviews, and like they were on a game show the other day and stuff like that, they really seem to have a good rapport. So that's really good to see. It carries over onto the show. Now, Krist, just to talk about their characters a little bit, Krist plays really our main character, Kawi. Kawi is someone who they both are college students. Kawi doesn't have a lot of friends. He's pretty insular. He's going through a lot. His mom, in one of the episodes, I don't think it's episode 1 that they mention it, but his mom got remarried, left the country, and kind of just forgot about Kawi. And so it's just been him and his dad. And unfortunately, his father is ill. He has a heart condition. So in episode 1, we see Kawi in the future. It's not really the future, it's present day, really. But it's about 10 or 12 years in the past is when a lot of the show takes place. Kawi had a crush on this girl named Pear in college and really felt like she was the one who got away and wanted to go and change that. He wanted to go and wished he could somehow have his father back. And he visits a store, gets it's kind of like a globe. And there's something like mysterious about this. Not about the globe, but the globe doesn't work well. He's sitting in a park thinking about this globe. Someone sits down next to him and offers to fix the globe for him. And this man is what is mysterious. And we actually still don't know in episode 8, we still don't know who this man is exactly that offers to help him. But this man does something to this globe, and Kawi discovers this globe, when he twists it, will allow him to go back in time to his college days. And at first when he goes back, he thinks it's all a dream. So he's just acting, just being nuts and doing crazy things. And he meets up with Pisang back there, and he's acting all this way with Pisang, who Pisang is looking at him like, what is wrong with you? He even asks him at one point if he's high because of how strange Kawi is acting. But he's in the past. He wants to try to change things. First, he wants to try to get Pear, because Pear, the one who got away, when he was back in college, they had a secret friend thing that was going on with all of the different, I don't know if it's just the freshmen, but some of the classmates. And you were supposed to do things for your secret friend. You might get them gifts, or you might, pay for food for them, or whatever it might be for them. And then at the end, everyone reveals who they are. So everyone knows who their secret friend was. Well, Kawi doesn't get to tell Pear that he was her secret friend. And Pisang, so that Pear doesn't feel bad that no one steps forth for her, says that he's the secret friend. But he really does it more for Kawi than he does for Pear. But he steps forward and says that he's the friend. And Kawi gets upset at this because he's not necessarily looking at it as a good thing, like he was helping him save face. But for him, it's not a good thing because he knows in the future, in our present day, that Pear and Pisang get married. And so he doesn't want them being close, right? He wants his chance. But this puts him into conflicts with Pisang. And we don't know at this point really kind of what their relationship, they don't seem to really have any relationship, but he views Pisang as like his enemy because Pisang gets married to Pear in the future. Pisang does not view Kawi as his enemy. And we come to see over the course of the show, Pisang actually really cares for Kawi and has feelings for him. At first, you're not sure if it's just a friendship, but no, it's really, he does have feelings for him. And Kawi, that's not on his radar at all until he's traveling back and forth in the future. He travels a couple of times because when he makes changes in the past, he goes to the future to try to see if the changes have produced good things. And that's when he comes to know that Pisang actually has feelings for him. And he can't return those feelings because he feels like he's in love with Pear. Here I'm talking about kind of episodes 1 through 5 over here. But with all of this traveling back and forth, he comes to realize that there are some things that he just really can't change. One of them, unfortunately, seems to be the death of his father. There are many of us who wish we could go back and save a loved one, but we don't have that ability. And it seems him, even with his ability to time travel and seek what he thinks is really good medical care for his father, he still can't do anything about that it seems to be meant to be. But as he's going through these things, as he's traveling, as he's realizing he can't do anything to save his father, the person who's by his side always is Pisang. It's not Pear, who Kawi, thought he was in love with in the beginning. It's Pisang who's always by him, supporting him, helping him, etc. Even when Pisang is confused half the time, because he does not know that Kawi's time traveling. He just sees this behavior from his college classmate that suddenly starts changing, and it intrigues him to see this other side of Kawi and things like that. But it's really because Kawi is, first, like I said, he thought he was in a dream, so he was just acting strangely. But also, even when he realized he was not in a dream and this was all real, he has the knowledge of the future and how things turn out in the future. And that affects what he's doing in the past, the changes that he's trying to make. So I've been looking at Twitter, of course, and some reactors, and a lot of people, they have a real problem with Kawi because of the way he treated Pisang in the beginning, and even the way that some people feel that he treats Pisang now. But I've actually liked this character from the beginning. He's pretty relatable. He has a hard time letting go, letting himself be vulnerable. A lot of us can empathize with that, right? His future doesn't, or the present day, but future doesn't turn out quite like he thought it would. He doesn't have the career he wants. He wants it, pair as his wife. He doesn't have that. And he's lost his father, who was the most important person in his life. So nothing has worked out for him, and he's bitter. And he also lost his best friend. There's another character named Max that's his best friend. So he has no one around him. And even then in the past, he already had a conflict going with Max. So he had that bitterness going on of not having his best friend. And one of the nice things when he's able to time travel is that he can go and try to fix things. Like, he can't fix his father's death, unfortunately, but he is able to repair his relationship with Max. And that's lovely to see. He's also able to really, really see Pisang for who he is, as a caring person and someone who is willing to do anything for him, and someone who's not a rival but is a potential partner. And we see, now this is where some spoilers come in if you haven't seen episode 8, he's gone to the past. Really, he went to the past in episode 7, but he got to see how his life turned out terribly. Even when he got the girl, quote unquote, even when he got Pear, it didn't last, because really they're not meant to be. But in the process of him trying to hold on to Pear, he loses Pisang. And so when he comes back to the future, or to our present day, in episode 8, he decides that he's not going to lose Pisang. This is the one person in his life he can't, or one of two people in his life he can't lose, right? Because he doesn't want to lose Max either. He wants to maintain that friendship. He realizes there's nothing he can really do about his father, unfortunately, but he wants to hold on to this person who, he says actually that when Pisang wasn't in his life, he realized that was the biggest mistake in his life, losing Pisang. So they finally get together. And I was watching a reactor who was kind of like, I wouldn't have forgiven, if I was Pisang, I wouldn't have forgiven Kawi. But this is where time travel comes in, right? Because Kawi is traveling back and forth, but Pisang is not. So half of the stuff that we're seeing, that we think like, how could Pisang forgive this current Pisang that they're showing in episode 8 has not experienced these things, because Kawi's been going back and changing things. So he's experienced some negative parts of his relationship with Kawi, mostly confusion on his part, because he is having these feelings for Kawi and not knowing where Kawi stands, or thinking that Kawi likes Pear. But it's mostly confusion. A lot of the stuff that we might feel is unforgivable is only because we've seen Kawi do those things. Pisang, the current Pisang, has not experienced them. And the current Kawi has seen enough and been through enough to know that he needs to change and not do those things, and treat Pisang better, so that they can have a true partnership with each other. I'm not sure what's going to happen in future episodes. I've been seeing somewhere that there are 10 episodes, and then I was seeing that there are 12 episodes. If it's 10 episodes, then they've started their relationship, and hopefully things will go well from now on. They do still have to talk to Pear, because I think Pear kind of started developing feelings for Kawi, and now he's just like, oh no, I like Pisang and I want to be with Pisang, and they haven't talked to Pear yet. Or Kawi hasn't talked to Pear yet about that. But if it's 12 episodes, that means we've got 4 episodes left, which means maybe some angst is coming up. I hope not. I think we're in a good spot now. I really don't want a bunch of angst, but I really like this show a lot. I am a science fiction fan, so when I saw the trailer showing that it was going to be a sci-fi show, I was like, yes, I was all for it. I didn't quite know what mechanism they were going to use, but I do like the way that they've used the globe for him to go back and forth. Chris is doing a phenomenal job with this character. He did seem a little unlikable to some people in the beginning. I always liked him because I always liked this character's quirkiness, but he did seem a little unlikable to some people, and I think that's definitely changing. Chris is able to portray the growth that Kawi is showing, and Gawin is doing really well as the main male lead on the show. I'm very happy for him. I hope this is the start of, not the start, he was off to a good start, right? He had Not Me, Dark Blue Kiss, he was good, but I hope this is off to the start for more male lead parts, and I'm guessing that since this is doing so well, that it will probably be Gawin and Chris, paired again in something else in the future. Singto's no longer a part of GMM TV, so for those of you who are hoping for Chris and Singto to get back together as a BL couple, I don't think it'll happen. They're still friends. But Gawin and Chris are really good together too. They've got good chemistry. I have honestly not been watching a bunch of BL this year, but I think my prediction by the end of the year, unless something truly amazing comes along, this will probably be like in my top 3 or one of my favorites of 2023 as far as BL goes. The other thing I've been or that I watched, finally, I didn't mention this in the intro, but the other thing I watched was ABossandaBabe. And that one, I did not know what to expect from it. I probably should not have done this, but I really wasn't expecting anything good, to be honest. ABossandaBabe features Book and Frame. I saw Enchante, which was their previous drama last year, I believe. And I did not like Enchante. I found it very slow, found it a bit boring. I didn't see the chemistry between them, honestly. And I was just like, it put me off watching ABossandaBabe for a long time. And then I finally decided to watch it because all of the R Sky 2 things came out. And I was like, I should watch this before trying to watch R Sky 2. And I have to say I was pleasantly surprised by ABossandaBabe. I don't know, unlike BeMyFavorite, I don't know that ABossandaBabe would, be in my top 3 or something by the end of the year for BL, but it was okay. The chemistry between Frame and Book was way more evident in ABossandaBabe. It was fluff. The show was pretty much fluff. It was Frame playing Gun, or the boss, who's the CEO of a video game company. And Book plays Chair, who is an intern at the company. And they fall in love with each other, basically. And there's this whole issue of the power differential between the boss and the intern. Frame seems to come from a wealthy family, and, his mom, they don't really show the dad, but the mom is like, Chair isn't good enough for you. He doesn't, have a career to his name. He doesn't have anything. So there's that kind of conflict, which didn't come in until the end. But Mike was in this, who, like I said before, was supposed to be one of the leads in BeMyFavorite. And I'm not sure if he wasn't because they were filming this, or exactly what happened where he wasn't the lead anymore of BeMyFavorite. But over here, he plays Jack, who is a good friend, basically brother to Chair, and works for the company. And I don't know if he's the one who got him the internship, but they're obviously very close. And they've got a group of 4 friends, 5 including Chair, who just have a very beautiful friendship. And Boss, who had one friend named Tim, I forgot how they pronounced it, but it was played by Drake in ABossandaBabe. He's got a support role here. They are launching Frame's company, P-Gun, the boss's company, is launching a video game, and they are sort of being kind of sabotaged in a way by another company that's launching the very same game. And it turns out that Drake's character is the person who works for the other company and is launching the game. He had been partners with Gun in the video game company, and then he winds up leaving. So there's this conflict between them. So there's kind of that storyline of this competition. They don't go into it too much except to show that when Drake's character left the company, their friendship completely broke off, and he views Gun as someone who just basically is trying to destroy his life. He has all the money. He was able to keep the company. Drake's character, has nothing and is working for this other company. And he's got this game is like his shot to make it big. And even that he feels Gun is trying to take away from him. In actuality, Gun is not trying to do that. Gun is just sad at the loss of this friendship. And he feels like there are very few people in his life that he can trust because, as he says, everyone walks away from him. And right now he's met Chair and he falls in love with him. He kind of fell in love with his voice because Chair did ASMR videos and Gun was a fan of them. So he falls in love with the voice first, I guess. Chair, he tries to hold on to Chair as much as he can, right? He doesn't want another person walking away from him. So it's total fluff. Book's character, Chair, is like this happy-go-lucky type of person. He doesn't know boundaries in a way, which for most people, they would have been fired with the things he did, especially the type of person that Gun is. But he just has this feelings for Chair, and Chair just gets away with everything. So fluff. But there were some serious storylines here. Chair has a younger friend he was the little brother of a girl that Chair liked in the village, and she passed away. Her name was Tian. And since she's gone, Chair starts looking out for this little brother, Tup, and views him as his own little brother. Unfortunately, this kid is going through a lot. He's a high school kid. He's going through a lot. He's lost his sister. He's coming from a really bad family dynamic. And so he's just in conflict with Chair a lot, who's trying to do so much for him and is trying to look out for him. Part of the storyline with this boy, as you learn later, and this spoilers again, is that his sister committed suicide. Most of the village thinks that Chair drove her to do that because they found out she was pregnant, and the village thinks that was Chair's child. And it actually wasn't. They had never been together in that way. And what it turns out it is that she was abused by the stepfather. And they bring up this storyline in the show, and they never truly resolve it. They do a quick little, 2-sentence, and then this happened, and that was it. That was the end. There's this whole big trauma that Chair experiences when he finds out what happens, that the little brother is gone through, and they don't explore it in any way. And it was kind of why even bring this thing up to then just drop it? That was a very heavy storyline to have what is in an otherwise fluffy show, and then you just dropped it and didn't resolve it really. And the issue with Drake's character as well. He goes in at one point because he gets fired from his job when they realize that he's launching the same game that this other company is, and he's doing it through not good means. He gets mad. He goes to Gun's company. He punches Gun, tells him he's a terrible friend, whatever, and storms off. And then we never see him again. What happens? We know that Gun, in all honesty, would totally take him back as a friend if they were able to reconcile. It never happens. It also never gets resolved in the sense of Gunn saying, well, I'm never going to talk to him again. Nothing. It just Drake punches him, leaves, and that's it. You don't see it again. Did the other company pay restitution? Did they just drop the game? What in the world happened? We don't know. We'll never know unless they do BeMyFavorite too. But even if they did, I don't know that they would pick up on these particular storylines, especially Tian's storyline. I have the feeling the director thinks that storyline is done, but really it wasn't done well. We don't know what happened to the stepfather in terms of how did they find out? Was there evidence? How long is he going to be in jail? Nothing. It just completely drops. And that kind of marred the show. Otherwise, it would have been a decent little show, I think. Just, you're expecting fluff and you get fluff, and that would have been fine. By trying to get serious and then not picking up the threads of that storyline, it kind of marred the show. But it was still better than Enchante. Enchante, I'm sorry for the people who liked it. I just really found it kind of slow and a little boring, to be honest. I stuck with it, but it was a little boring. But BeMyFavorite I enjoyed a lot more. I really saw the chemistry here, finally, between these two actors. Frame as the boss, he was okay, but Book as Chair was really good, I think, in that role, in that happy-go-lucky type of personality. That really shone through. Actually, I think a little better than Teo, with his character in Enchante that was a little more serious. Plus, Frame was he's young. They're the same age. So it's a little weird that he's playing this CEO and Chair is an intern, and they're trying to act like there's so much difference between them when they're obviously pretty much the same age. But it was an okay show. I don't feel like I wasted my time watching it, at least. The last show I'm going to talk about is Laws of Attraction. This is the new show. Only one episode has shown so far. This is the new show with Film and Jam, who were in Kunchai, To Sir With Love. I am loving it so far. It's just been one episode, but I'm loving it. Film is playing Chan, who is a lawyer. He's pretty shady. You see in episode 1 on iQIYI, and it's a 131 show. ONE number 3, number 1. But so far as of today's Wednesday, I don't see any episodes up on the 131 channel on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's on their website. I just don't know what's going on with that, but it is on iQIYI. The subtitles are not the greatest. I will say that. There are several issues. They keep saying that. Okay, let me give a little synopsis of the show. This is about Tin, who is a Taekwondo teacher. I couldn't tell if it was his brother or the sister, but this married couple passed away. Again, I don't know if the brother was his relative or if it was the sister, but they passed away. They had a daughter, and he winds up taking care of the daughter, and he has her since she was a baby. Really, even though he's saying that's his niece, that's really his child. He's raised her since she was a baby. They're a family unit, along with the grandma and the neighbors, their immediate neighbors that they have. They are a family unit. They are tight. He's a good guy. He teaches Taekwondo. He helps people, etc. That's one of our male leads. He's played by Jam. Chan is played by Film. Chan is a lawyer, and like I said, he's shady, and now I'll go back to what I was saying before. You see in the first 5 minutes of the show just how shady he can be. It opens with him as a defense lawyer in a murder case. And the way he wins the case is by, well, spoiler, there's an old lady who's a witness to not the murder itself, but she sees the woman leaving who has just shot her husband. And you see a flashback to her walking down the stairs. Someone knocks into her. You know, they say sorry. They go to pick up her stuff. They put her stuff back in her bag. And what they do is they switch her glasses with a pair of glasses that they had in their pocket. So now when she's in court, come back to the present, she's in court. Chan, played by Film, asks her to look at a picture and tell him what's in the picture. And of course she cannot see because her vision is blurry because these glasses are not hers. But now since her testimony is not trustworthy, the murderer is going to get off. This is the kind of shady person that Chan is. So the murder victim's brother is obviously highly upset by this. After the case finishes, he confronts Chan in the street and tries to kill him, basically. He's chasing him down the street with a gun. Chan falls to the ground. He's just covering his head. He can't get away from this man. And who comes to save him but Tin, played by Jam. And that's when we see them first see each other. And for Chan, it is, I don't know if it's love at first sight, but it's at least lust at first sight. And he immediately starts flirting with Tin, played by Jam. And it's kind of funny because Tin is totally and completely flustered by this man flirting with him. You know, it's so unexpected. Chan is offering like, yeah, I'll take you out to dinner in thanks. And Tin is kind of like, what? You know? And Chan is, you know, please just give me your number. If you don't want to eat now, we can meet later. Just totally flirting with him. And Tin doesn't really know how to respond, and he doesn't have a chance to respond because he gets a phone call from his niece who tells him that grandma's, I guess, lying on the floor. She's sick. So he goes running off without them exchanging phone numbers. And what it turns out to be is a surprise party for him. So it's really cute. You see that the way that they really all care for each other. And his niece really, her wish for him is to find a significant other, which he's kind of like, I think I might have met someone, but I didn't get his number or anything. And, you know, you're like, I don't know if you want that person as your significant other, because Chan is he's just shady. Unfortunately, Tin's niece winds up getting hit by a car and killed by the son of a powerful man. And so instead of them bringing him to justice, they are just trying to pay Tin off with money. And the lawyer representing this powerful man is Chan, who comes to Tin to try to get him to accept the money. And Tin is obviously highly upset because no amount of money in the world will bring back his niece, right? And he also, you can tell, really liked Chan and was attracted to Chan and thought Chan was actually just coming to see him, not realizing, no, Chan is just coming to buy him off. But Tin is not someone who can be bought off. So he kicks him out of the house. And what they do is they do some underhanded things to try to force Tin to accept the money. It causes him to go storming over to Chan's office and try to punch him in the face, basically. And he is so angry at Chan. And meanwhile, Chan is just continuing to flirt with him. So he is such a jerk, this character. He really is. But I can tell there's some kind of redemption arc coming. You see little flashbacks. There's a couple of things that happen. You see little flashbacks to a point when he's kind of running from people and he's got a blindfold over his eyes. So obviously he went through something very early in the episode when the brother of the murder victim was tracking him down and trying to shoot at him. He said something about the way did your parents raise you like this, or the way your parents raised you? And Chan got a sad look on his face, kind of like a shocked look on his face. And I think there's some kind of trauma behind that. Like something maybe happened to his parents, because Chan's whole thing is, the world is run by the powerful. And so he wants to have power because he knows how it is to be powerless. Whatever happened to him has made him the way he is. And hopefully we'll get to see what made him that way. I see that there's only 8 episodes. And these episodes are not like an hour and a half long or anything like that. I think the first episode was like 54 minutes, I think it was. Which is fairly long, but not super long. So I'm not sure how much they'll really be able to delve into his past, but hopefully they'll do something because they really have to explain why he is this way. Because I see some people are just like, they can't take him. He's too evil for them. I don't really think he's truly evil. I think he's an emotionally damaged person. He goes to see his client and he asks questions and the client refuses to answer them. And he kind of pushes a bit and the client doesn't like it and sends some people to beat them up later. And this intrigues Chan because that he knows something else is going on here. Something's being covered up or something's just strange. And it causes him to go look for to go look for Tin. And you see in the preview for next week, him telling Tin there's something else behind this accident. And so I think they're going to be working together in the future to find out what's going on. Chan possibly is just going to work with him just because he's a pot stirrer, honestly. But also, he didn't like that he got beaten up. He wants to know why. What exactly is going on here? Tin obviously wants to find out what's going on because he wants to get justice for his niece. The episode 1 ends with gets drunk. He gets into a fight with some people it's not a bar, but at a food place. He gets beat up. Chan comes and finds him, brings him home, and you see at the end he's taking off Tin's clothes, and Chan takes off his own shirt, and people on Twitter or reactors are like, oh my goodness, he's gonna assault him. And there are some people who just won't watch that at all, obviously. And I actually don't think that that's what's gonna happen. You see in the preview, like he goes up to Tin and he's like, oh, you got drunk last night and then and he doesn't finish the sentence. I don't think that he did anything to him besides clean him up. Because in the preview, when Tin wakes up in the morning, he looks better than he did the day before. He looks cleaned up. So I think that's all Chan's going to do. He might make him think that they did something, but again, he's just trying to be a pot stirrer. He just gets glee out of people feeling uncomfortable, I think. But I don't think he's going to assault him. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I don't think he will. But this will be interesting. This will be interesting to see how they go. Well, Chan doesn't hate Tin. How they go from Tin hating Chan, I'm actually not even sure that hate is the word. I would say Tin is disappointed in Chan. Because he did have, not feelings, because they didn't know him, but he was feeling like something could develop between them, and then to discover he's working for the enemy, so to speak. It'll be interesting to see how they start working together, how they can build a relationship out of a bad start, how Chan changes. He's going to have to change a little bit, right? He's kind of putting on a show of like this guy who's flirty and, and nuts sometimes. And he's going to have to show some vulnerability, I think, for Tin to take him seriously. So we'll see what happens. And I really do hope that they show whatever trauma it was that caused him to behave the way that he does. I hope they do get into that. As far as the acting, Film and Jam are just good together. If you've seen Kunchai, To Serve With Love, you see that they're really good together there. That's the only thing I've seen Jam in, so I can't speak to that. Film I've seen in several things, and he always brings it. He's always good. So I didn't expect anything less from him here. Now, I will say this character he's playing is, like I said, he's a jerk. He's very flirty, and I think Film is probably having the time of his life playing a villain who's possibly not a villain. Something different. I think he's probably having way too much fun playing this character. And he's good. He's good in his role, right? Because even though he's playing this jerk, people still like him. I see all these people on Twitter saying for themselves, look at the way he acts, but I still like him. So he's doing well in this role. And it is always a treat to see older male leads and not university students or whatever. These are two grown men in this BL with jobs, with responsibilities, with trauma. All that goes into you being an adult who has gone through things in your life. And I am all for it. I haven't really seen, this isn't exactly like Manner of Death. It is in the sense that it's a thriller, I guess, but I haven't really seen something like this since Manner of Death. So if you liked Manner of Death, I think you should give this show a chance. It would be interesting. Again, Film is rubbing some people the wrong way, but not Film. Sorry, that's the actor. Chan, the character he plays, is rubbing some people the wrong way. So just take that into account. I'm loving it. I'm loving the drama of it. It's pretty extra. But it's extra being done well. Because I've seen some shows that are extra and it's just like, but this is extra being done well. And I'm definitely looking forward to more. I just hope that they fix whatever this issue is with the subtitles, because they're calling the niece a nephew. When she's alive and they're talking, she's calling him auntie. So they're just having issues with the gender. And I don't know if it's because it's like automatic subtitles, so it's a problem with translating from Thai to English. I'm not sure. Also, the apostrophes don't seem to be written correctly in the subtitles. It's just various things. And there are a few times where I kind of had to interpret what was going on. And that's one of the reasons I was trying to see their YouTube channel to see if 131 had put any of the episodes up yet, to see if they had better subtitles. But so far, I don't see anything. As of today's Wednesday, as of today, I don't see anything up on 131. When it eventually does go up, I will probably rewatch it just so I can be seeing it with the proper subtitles. And to finish off, just a quick little update on the dramas that I was watching back in episode 34, the last episode of Notes from a Drama Watcher that aired, so that was months ago. Just a little quick update. I did finish Cutie Pie. I liked it in the end. They probably could have shortened it by an episode or something. Second couple, I didn't really get into that storyline much at all, but I liked the main couple. I saw Cutie Pie 2 when it came out. That was actually really total fluff, but it was fine. And Cupid's Last Wish I finished. I enjoyed it. By the end, Earth and Mix are one of my favorite BL couples. And Cupid's Last Wish, even though the shows have nothing to do with each other, it reminds me a little bit of Be My Favorite, Kawi's character and Mix's character on Cupid's Last Wish, because a lot of people also thought they were treating their other male lead on the show terribly. But again, in Cupid's Last Wish, you really saw a lot of growth in Mix's character. And we really see that here with Kawi, with Chris's character. So if something is written well, there is a way to turn around the character by the end of the show. Inspector Ku, I just never finished. That was the Korean detective drama. Just never finished it. It's on my list of, getting back to it one of these days. And Dear Doctor, I'm Coming for Soul. I did finish, enjoyed it all the way to the end. I recommend people watch it. If you are looking for BL dramas that have older male leads, such as we just talked about Manner of Death and so forth. Dear Doctor, I'm Coming for Soul is another one with older male leads, if that's what you're looking for. So with that, I come to an end of this podcast, of this episode. Thank you so much again for sticking with me. If you're new, thank you for checking this out. And if you've listened to my podcast before, if you're a subscriber, thanks so much for coming back. Again, I'm sorry I've been away for a while. I've been dealing with these health issues, but things are looking up. So thanks. Appreciate you guys. You have a good one. Stay safe. Future M here, just jumping on to say, I know I keep calling Force Frame. I know who it is I'm talking about. I just have a mental block with his name where I just keep on calling him Frame, but I know it's Force. Just wanted to jump on and say that. And again, thanks for listening. I wish everyone well and stay safe.